Hi there. My name is Bethany, and I thought that I would document my journey um, over the next few months, which will be um, not the easiest few months I've ever had. But I thought that if I documented it, maybe at some point it could help someone else in my same position, and yeah, help them get through it and see what it is. So I have been diagnosed with something called Hodgkin's lymphoma, um, which is a type of cancer. Woohoo! Yeah, so I've got cancer, which is fine. Yeah, everyone bigs up cancer, so I just sort of see it as sort of, oh, I've got cancer. It's just like any other illness, really, isn't it? So I thought that I'd share with you how I was diagnosed, and then it would sort of help you if any of the sort of symptoms came up. It might be helpful just to make sure that you're looking out for stuff, because I had no idea at all what it would like. It could be this. So let's go way back. About 4 or 5 months ago, I sort of found a little lump on my neck. You can see it now. Oh gosh, it's quite big, isn't it? It's quite a big lump. It's like I'm playing rugby. It's like I'm a big rugby player with a big neck. And I found a big lump on my neck and didn't really think anything of it. I'd had a big bout of tonsillitis and sort of thought, it's to do with that. Obviously not. Lol. Now I know. Yes, that was about 4 or 5 months ago. And then about 4 weeks ago, I thought, this really isn't going away, is it? So I was sort of like, right, I better book a GP appointment and just see. I went in and had a lovely doctor, very nice. He had a look and he was like, I might just book you in for an urgent ultrasound. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, routine, absolutely fine, brill. He also put me in to have some blood tests. So I went and had blood tests to check for like glandular fever and stuff, which was great because I'd been feeling quite tired, and was like, yes, I might have glandular fever. That's not good, but it's better than this. But so went up for blood tests. Blood tests came back all clear. About 5 days later, I then got my ultrasound appointment through. That was for the 12th of June. So I went and saw the GP on about the 25th of May, something like that. I went and saw him, and then had my ultrasound appointment on the 12th of June and thought nothing of it and was like, yeah, I'm going to go in for an ultrasound and it'll be dandy, get it all done quickly. So the guy's there with this ultrasound thing, feeling this side, and he's like, oh, let me just have a look at the other side. He looks at the other side and he's like, let me just have another look at that side. So he has another look. He's like, okay, so you've got one lump here, which is quite big, and then you've got 3 other lumps here. And I was like, oh, okay. You've got lymph nodes on both sides, fine. And he was like, I think, he looked a bit concerned at this point, so I was a bit like, okay, great. He was like, I think I'm going to do something called a biopsy. And at that moment I was like, biopsy, cancer, scary. I was like, yeah, playing it really chilled and really cool, and like, doesn't matter. So we did the biopsy on this side, and I've got a little scar there from where he did it. And he basically put some anaesthetic in, and then he got this sort of gun thing with like a long tip, put the tip into my neck, and then sort of clicked the gun. So it like took a bit of the tissue out and take that out, and he did that twice, which was fine. So I had that done, and then he asked me to be referred to the hospital because then it's easier for them to contact you, etc., etc. So I went to see my GP the next day, got referred, dandy. Then I got a call on Thursday, so I had the biopsy on Tuesday, went to see the GP on Wednesday to be referred. Then got a call on Thursday saying I needed to go and have a chest x-ray, so I went and had a chest x-ray, and that was fine. Then I got my appointment through for the 28th of June. And I was like, I've got to wait a whole 2 weeks to get my results. And I was like, okay, 2 weeks, it's fine. Got to the end of sort of 3 days and I was like, I need to know the results now. So it was a bit sort of kind of a bit scary waiting for the results. I just didn't want to wait another week or something before they came through. But fortunately, I got a call from the hospital and they had an appointment on the 19th, so I only had to wait 1 week at 1:30. And I was like, yes, I'm nabbing that appointment. Oh, it's quickly done. The biopsy's done. Might be good news. Yes, brilliant. So I went in to the NNN, Norfolk and Norwich, to the Colney Centre, where all around you've got like the cancer signs. And my mum was with me and I was like, this is a really good sign. Loads of cancer signs everywhere, Macmillan support. I was like, I've definitely not got cancer. Yeah. Then I got called in to go and have my blood taken. My veins are appalling. My veins are like the tiniest things you can ever see. They're so thin. And this poor woman was trying to drip blood from my veins and just wasn't having any luck. So they ended up having to sort of stick 2 or 3 needles in me to try and get them. But fortunately, they managed to get it. But they lined up, and I'm not kidding, they lined up 9 tubes that they had to fill. I was sitting there like, I'm going to feel horrendous. And at that point, you sort of knew things weren't good, things weren't normal, when they were asking for 9 tubes rather than 1 or 2. So we had bloods, and I was like, okay, yeah, still feeling positive, still could be good results. Went back into the waiting room, got called in about 5 minutes later by this lovely doctor, and everyone at the hospital was like so lovely. They were really helpful, really clear, and this doctor called me in and basically was so clear and straight to the point, because I couldn't hold on any longer. And she basically looked at me and she said, we've had a look at your biopsy and unfortunately it's come back with something called Hogkin's lymphoma. And at that point, I'm not going to lie, my heart sunk. And I didn't show it because I didn't want to sort of look not strong or not positive about it. But inside I was like, okay, great. So she told me that, and then she went out and she was like, I'm just going to get your pink file. And she came back with this massive thing that has about 50 booklets in of stuff to read. And I was like slightly overwhelmed by how much there was to read about it. And at this point, nothing was going, it was all going over my head because I just blocked it all out. I was like, I'd heard the Hogkin's lymphoma and I was not listening to anything else. So she gave me all of this. She then told me that I needed to have something called a PET scan, a positron something. I don't know what it is. I'll put it in the description below if you want to know. I had to go and have one of those, which I've got to have. I haven't had that yet. And basically to go and see them after the PET scan to find out the results and see what stage it is. She told me that I have to have chemotherapy, so I will lose my hair. So I had, up until 4 or 5 days ago, hair about that much longer. It went down to sort of my waist. So I got that all chopped off so that it wouldn't be so dramatic when it all fell out, because she said you're going to lose your hair. And that was the moment that I had a little weep. I know hair's not like a big thing, but for a girl, I'm sure other people can relate that sort of when you're told you're going to lose your hair, it's a bit sort of not soul destroying, that's a bit too powerful, but it's not a nice thing to hear. that people are going to be looking at you because you're different, and people are going to know that you've got cancer because you've lost all your hair and stuff like that. So that wasn't the nicest bit. But the doctor was absolutely lovely, and she said, come back when you've had your PET scan and we'll discuss when the treatment will be and what they want to do. So then I left, and life continued, really, up until the PET scan, which I'm going to have this on Tuesday. So yeah, that was my diagnosis, really. Some of the other symptoms I had, which might be, actually that'll be important, is, so I obviously had the lump on my neck, the one here. I've actually got 3 more here. And another thing the doctor said was that I've actually got 2 more in my chest that they've found from the chest x-ray. So I've sort of got 2 groups of enlarged lymph nodes. But some of the other symptoms I had was fatigue, which was one of the reasons they suggested glandular fever, because I was just so tired all of the time. And I didn't understand it. I just thought I was being really lazy. But now there's a reason, which is kind of nice that I wasn't just being lazy. So fatigue, lump, weight loss, unexplained weight loss. That's always a fun one. I hadn't had any night sweats or anything like that, so I hadn't really looked at this as an option, because I hadn't had any night sweats. I'd had sort of hotness in bed, but nothing major. Yeah, so it sort of came as a bit of a shock, but you got to deal with it, and it's only going to make me a better person, definitely, and that's the way I'm going to look at it. And yeah, you've just got to take each day as it comes and see what happens, really. So that's my diagnosis. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say, really. I hope that was helpful. If anyone ever needs help with this, with symptoms, and I will update you when I've had my PET scan and when I've found out what stage of cancer I've got. So, see you later.